Alright, so in this video, we're going to talk about formulas and what we can do with them. So we're just going to talk about how we can design a formula column, how we can apply it to a schema, and so here we have the US state schema, and there's the table we're using for the schema. So if we open up the table data, we scroll down, we see there's a formula column section. There's no formula columns there because we haven't added any, but we're going to do that in this video. We're going to show you how we do that and why it's so useful, why it's powerful, why it's so awesome to be able to filter data in that way. It's such an easier way. But first, let's go back to the US States dashboard. And we should mention that it's very, very important and useful to thoroughly check your formula, the formula that you're going to use for the formula column on some data that you already have, just to confirm that it's returning the correct value in accordance with what you'd like to see and how you'd like to filter it. So we'll do that in this case in the US states table. We can add and test the formula that we'll use for the formula column, and so we'll do that right now. We'll show you the formula that we're going to use. We're going to explain the formula, what it means, the syntax, and just everything about it. So here we have what the formula is going to discern is actually the population. We're gonna categorize various population states. So for example, like 0 to 3 million, we're gonna categorize states by that population, or 3 to 6 million. And so on. So what we do is we click Analyze, we add a new formula, we just drag it over there, we open it up, and we copied and pasted the formula here, but we'll explain exactly what this means. So this right here, US states, that's the schema we're using, and then next is the table US states, and then the last is population, that is the column from the table. So actually we can even delete that, and if you just click population, all that gets added by default. And then the next, the bottom section of this formula, 0 to 3 million, is the string that will map onto the states between 0 and 3 million, which is the next. We see that number, the digit number, to the right of it, and then so it's the same principle applied to the next next 3 rows actually. So 3 to 6 million will be mapped onto the states with the population between 3 to 6 million. That string, actually the 3 to 6M string, that's what the string is, but it's the same thing for the next row, and the last row will be the states greater than 9 million, and that's just implied. We don't even have to write the integer digit there, but that's what this formula means. So we'll click Done, and so we have our formula. We can call it, you can change the name if you need to, but we'll just keep it a new formula right now. And you'll notice how in this column, this new column that has been created, all the states based on their population. So for example, Alabama, it has like 4 million something people in it. It falls under that category, 3 to 6 million. So the string will be applied in that row for Alabama under the new formula column. And so this is the case for every single state in the table. So we can confirm, obviously, you can confirm that it works for every state, and so that formula is working correctly. It's returning the correct value for each and every table entry. So now let's create the formula column for the schema. So we went to the schema section, as you saw. We went back to the table data, and we can add a formula column. So we'll name the column population bucket, because we're essentially filtering out based on population of the state. So we'll label it population bucket, and we'll give it a dimension, function type of dimension. And so we copied and pasted the same exact formula we tested on our dashboard table, and we click Done, so it's saved. And next up, we're going to go ahead and see how powerful this formula column is, the population bucket formula column, and what we can do with this newfound technique in Encorta. So how can we use it? So let's create a chart. Let's start off by creating a column chart, simple column chart. And if you notice on our left, the population bucket formula shows up. And you might be wondering, what will this do? So let's add state as our count, so we see how many states there are, 50 states in the union. But if we also add population bucket, our population bucket formula categorizes each state within those categories. You know, like 0 to 3 million, 3 to 6 million, and so on. And we can change the name count of state population by population bucket. Click done, and all we can also change the layout if we'd like to include the value. So there's say 20 states in the 0 to 3 million range. But if we save that, our count of state by population bucket is available to us to view, and it's categorized all those states so very efficiently and easily and quickly. And you can do this, you can play around with this to change the formula to fit your needs, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be by state. We can use another criteria if we'd like, but as you see here, we move the chart up there, and it's decreased the width. But another nice tool we have is if we click on one of the criteria, so 0 to 3 million, it actually changes the data presented to you on all the other insights to fit that criteria, namely 0 to 3 million population of the state. So there's only 20 states that fit that criteria, and those are the states that show up. And if you want to delete that filter criteria used from the population bucket formula, we can do that, or we can change it to states greater than 9 million. And you know, you see how easy and quickly that is to do, and it'll apply that onto all your insights that you've already created. So that's the power of formula columns.